When was the last time you were truly bored? I mean, really bored. Not scrolling through a feed you don't care about, but just nothing. Sitting on a bus, no phone. Waiting in a line, no music. Just you and the empty space of the moment. It feels uncomfortable, right? Almost like a waste of time. We've been trained to believe that every second of our lives must be optimized, filled, productive, that doing nothing is a bug, not a feature. But what if I told you that our fear of boredom is one of the biggest things holding us back? What if doing nothing isn't a sign of laziness, but an essential, non-negotiable part of a creative, focused, and meaningful life? What if I told you that boredom is your secret weapon? We live in what I call the cult of constant productivity. We're obsessed with hacks, to-do lists, and optimization. Our self-worth has become tangled up with how busy we are. And in this world, boredom is the ultimate sin. It's seen as a failure of imagination, a waste of potential. And to help us avoid this failure, we've surrounded ourselves with an arsenal of instant, high-dopamine distractions. The moment an empty space appears, we fill it. We pull out our phones. We check email one more time. We put on a podcast for a 2-minute walk to the car. We are so terrified of being alone with our own thoughts that we've created a world where we never have to be. We've become experts at avoiding the void. But what are we losing in this relentless pursuit of doing? We're losing the vital, biological, and creative function of being. We're forgetting the art of doing nothing. Here's the big secret. When you're doing nothing, your brain isn't off. It's just switching modes. When you're focused on a task, writing an email, watching this video, spreadsheets, your brain's task-positive network is active. This is your focus, execution, and action center. But the second you stop focusing on an external task, your brain flips a switch. It activates a totally different, incredibly powerful network. It's called the Default Mode Network, or DMN. You can think of the DMN as your brain's background processing. It's the U network. And it's only when you're bored, when you're not actively engaged in a task, that the DMN gets to come online and do its most important work. And what does it do? It connects disparate ideas. It processes your memories and past experiences. It thinks about the future and simulates possibilities. It builds your sense of self and identity. The problem is, our phones and constant distractions are robbing our default mode network of the time it needs to work. We are starving our brains of the very nothingness they require for their most profound functions. We are constantly in task mode, and we are losing our ability to think, to reflect, and to create. So when you actually allow yourself to be bored, when you give your DMN the space to work, you unlock 3 superpowers. Superpower number 1, rocket fuel for creativity. This is the big one. We think of creativity as a eureka moment, but that moment is just the end of a long, invisible process. And that process is called incubation. Boredom is the incubation chamber for ideas. When your mind is free to wander, it starts to connect all the random, unrelated dots you've collected. The solution to a work problem isn't found by staring harder at your spreadsheet. It's found 10 minutes later when you're staring out the window, bored. That's your DMN connecting the spreadsheet problem to a random article you read last week and a conversation you had 2 years ago. The greatest creative insights in history, from Archimedes in his bathtub to Newton under his apple tree, happened not when they were working, but when they were doing nothing. Superpower #2, unbeatable clarity and self-awareness. When you stop all the external noise, you can finally hear the internal signal. Boredom is a mandatory meeting with yourself. In the quiet, the big questions bubble up. Am I happy? Is this the right path for me? What do I actually want? These questions are often uncomfortable, which is precisely why we avoid them with distraction. But you can't build a meaningful life if you don't have the clarity to know what's meaningful to you. Boredom is the tool that gives you that clarity. Superpower #3 restored focus and resilience. Our ability to focus is a finite resource, like a battery, and our high-stimulation world drains that battery fast. We're left feeling anxious, frazzled, and incapable of deep work. Boredom is the charger. Doing nothing is not lazy. It is essential neurological maintenance. It's like letting a muscle rest. When you give your brain a true break, not a junk food break of scrolling, but a real break of doing nothing, you replenish your capacity for deep, focused work. A little boredom now makes you infinitely more productive later. Okay, so how do we actually do this? It's an art, but it's also a practice. First, I'm not telling you to quit your job and stare at a wall for 3 days. You have to start small. I call them microdoses of nothing. Reclaim found time. The next time you're in an elevator, in a line at the coffee shop, or at a red light, make a conscious choice. Don't pull out your phone. Just be. Just look around. Notice things. Let your mind wander. Take a nothing walk. Go for a 10-minute walk. The catch? No phone, no music, no podcast, just you and the world. It will feel excruciatingly boring at first. That's a sign it's working. Schedule it. This sounds counterproductive, but it works. Put 15 minutes in your calendar labeled "Stare out the window." When the time comes, that's all you do. No book, no phone. Just sit and think. Embrace the discomfort. The most important step. When you start doing this, your brain will scream at you. It will itch for a distraction. This is a withdrawal symptom from a world of constant stimulation. Your job is to just sit with that itch. Don't scratch it. Let the discomfort pass. On the other side of that discomfort is where the magic happens. We've been sold a lie that every second must be filled, but our brains were never designed for this. Boredom isn't the enemy. It's not a void to be filled. It's a space to be used. It's the quiet, fertile ground where your best ideas, your clearest goals, and your deepest sense of self are waiting to grow. So, the next time you feel that pull, that moment of empty space, I challenge you. Don't fill it. Let it be. See what happens when you give your brain the one thing it's begging you for. A little bit of nothing.